Genesis 14. At that time, Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedor Loamir, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, went to war against Berer, king of Sodom, Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Sinab, king of Admah, Semeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar. The last 5 kings joined forces in the Valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. For 12 years they had served Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings who were his allies came and defeated the Raphaites in Ashtaroth, Carnium, and the Zuzites in Ham, the Emites in Shaveh, Kiriathem, and the Horites in their hill country in Seir, as far as El Paran, which is near the desert. Then they attacked En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, again. And they conquered all the territory of the Amalekites, as well as the Amorites, who were living in Hazezon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar, went out and prepared for battle in the Valley of Siddim. They met Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of nations, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar. 4 kings fought against 5. Now the Valley of Siddim was full of tar pits. When the king of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, they fell into them, but some survivors fled to the hills. The 4 victorious kings took all the possessions and food of Sodom and Gomorrah and left. They also took Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions when they left, for Lot was living in Sodom. A fugitive came and told Abram, the Hebrew, about Abram. Now Abram was living by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, the brother of Eshcol and Ener. All these were allied by treaty with Abram. When Abram heard that his nephew had been taken captive, he mobilized his 318 trained men who had been born in his household, and he pursued the invaders as far as Dan. Then during the night, Abram divided his forces against them and defeated them. He chased them as far as Hobah, which is north of Damascus. He retrieved all the stolen property. He also brought back his nephew Lot and his possessions, as well as the women and the rest of the people. After Abram returned from defeating Kedorlaomer, the king and the kings who were with him, the kings of Sodom went out to meet Abram in the valley of Shaveh, known as the King's Valley. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Now he was the priest of the Most High God. He blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by the Most High God, creator of heaven and earth. Worthy of praise is the Most High God, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Abram gave Melchizedek a tenth of everything. Then the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people and take the possessions for yourself." But Abram replied to the king of Sodom, "I will raise my hand to the Lord the Most High, God, creator of heaven and earth, and vow that I will take nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or a strap of a sandal. That way you can never say, 'It is I who made Abram rich.' I will take nothing except compensation for what the young men have eaten. As for the share of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their share." All right, there we go. There we have chapter 14. Let's see if there's anything going on in the chat. The other descendants, Picasso of Lot, become Moab and the Ammonites, though they are also given an allotment by God. Israel's not. Yeah, we'll get to that. We're not quite to that story. One reason, going back to my question, Genesis 12:1, God told him to not only his land, but his people and his father's relatives. That would have included Lot. No. Okay. That is a good argument. To not take a nephew, but leaving your father's household would, in my estimation, be those who are above you in age and authority. So you're leaving that protection to become the Behor of the new group, the head of household. So that's where I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's a valid reading. I'm just saying I'm not convinced that it was right or wrong for Lot to go along with. I don't know the answer. Picasso, Abram was part of a nation, and God took him out of a nation to make him a new nation. Well, he's part of a household. It's not clear that he's a nation yet. We get who he's the descendants from. So, Samarella, one reason to 5 luces, one of them who always helps me be positive, and I can't thank them enough for it always. I'm sure that they'll be like, it's no big deal, you don't owe me and stuff, but I want to thank them in a way to prove them I do owe them like I do you. Well, and it's not about you owing, it's about this is the whole, this is a beautiful example of why do we want to give back to God, because we understand and appreciate what we've received. So we give back out of what we've received. And we just have an example here of Melchizedek showing up, and Abram gives a tenth of everything. I don't know if this is everything that he possesses or everything he has just conquered. So to me, it makes sense on some level. And Altus, maybe you can add this. Maybe you know this. Is Abram giving a tenth of everything he possesses or everything that he just conquered in battle? He's giving 10%. He's giving a tithe to Melchizedek, who is a priest of God. So we have that encounter. Melchizedek comes into the story. There's no history. There's no background. He is just there. He is a priest of God, and he disappears from the story. He shows up and he disappears. He's a wonderful. Yeah, Altus, you're agreeing with me. It's 10% of what he got in battle. That's the way I read it too. But then we have, so it also did, I want to point out, it did say that he returned to Lot what he had. Where's Lot mentioned? He retrieved all the stolen property. He also brought back his nephew Lot and his possessions, as well as the women and the rest of the people. So there is no person who gets left in slavery there or enslaved to them. All of the possessions are returned back. Lot is returned back. Lot has his possessions back. Then the king of Salem shows up, and Abram's like, I'm not going to take anything. The other kings who were aligned with me, they can have their plunder. They can take it. I'm taking nothing from this. I don't want you to ever declare that you are the one who made me wealthy because of the battle where I went and I saved your people, because you couldn't do it. Now, the reason he did it isn't because of Sodom and he wanted to be aligned with Sodom. It's because his nephew was there. So he goes, he's victorious, which is interesting. It says he had 318 men. I'm assuming that's his own troops, the ones from his household. That's how it's mentioned. But he had the other kings as well who were with him and aligned with him. So it's not about 318 total, I don't think. 318 is a weird number. Does that show up anywhere else? Does anyone know 318? It doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, the number doesn't stand out to me, is I guess the way I should say it. 318. Altus, why say your country, your people, your father's household in that order? Why not just say your country? Surely if you leave your country, you've left your people. If you left your people, then you've left your father's household. Yeah. It really, to me, sounds like it's narrowing it down for him. If you've ever done that for, you give the big broad picture and you narrow it down and you narrow it down. There's a narrowing down here. And then also we get a narrowing down that Abram does later on when he's asking, what if there are 50 righteous? What if there are 40 righteous? What if, going all the way down to if there are 10 righteous? So the narrowing down is a pattern, would be the thing that I would point to. So Picasso, this refers to, one, the place, the culture, rights, habits that bind the people, and the dependency on family. That is taking him outside the world. I think I recall there being 318 attendees at the Council of Nicaea. You might be right, but I'm going to say that's a totally unrelated thing. I'm looking for 318 showing up in the Bible somewhere else. Let's just go look here. Yeah, you just say that more as a fun fact. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did not think I could think of another time where 318 shows up. So I don't know if there is significance there or not. I do like to note numbers. I do think sometimes we're supposed to pay attention to numbers. When 5 shows up, we're supposed to think of the Torah. When 7 shows up, we're supposed to think of totality of completeness. So if we think 2, it's the 2 tablets. If 10, the 10 commandments. There are some that our brains are supposed to connect things to. Katie Bug, morning. One reason, okay. Lot would have been in his grandfather's household, not his uncle's. That's a fair point. If he's leaving his father's household, that's a fair point. I've not thought of that before in that regard. He's supposed to leave them, but it never tells us one way or another if this is bad or not. We could judge it on it being bad because of what happens in regards to it, but it doesn't in the text say Abram was in the wrong for taking Lot with him. It now becomes in some way adversarial, and the long-term outcome is bad. So perhaps he should not have, if we're judging it based on the results. And we're trying to say, hey, it sounds like it was against what God had said. That's fair enough. One reason, I appreciate that. That's good. That's good insights, man. Altus, but his father is dead, and he takes Lot and all the people he converted. Yeah, his father's dead, which is why he is inclined to take him and to oversee him as a son, because his father is dead. Now, his other brother could have done this too, but Abraham is listed first when we first encounter them, which would lead us to believe he is the oldest. So he would be the Behor of the family. So he's leaving his father's family, and he would take Lot, a nephew, as a son with him. That's why that's why I'm saying it's not totally clear who all should be left behind and who shouldn't. Yeah, God told him to leave everyone. I'm fine with that understanding of it. Picasso, I don't know, however, that the theology of the Apostolic Church says that what happened in the Ecumenical Council is spiritually the same acts as Abram bringing Lot out of Sodom. Also, just another fun. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, Terah may not be dead. Yeah, the other family patriarch there. I think he brings them along with the thinking that Lot would inherit from Abram. That's what I think. I think Lucis, that's why he chooses yes. We're more discussing was it in violation of the instructions. We're on a tangent there, which I think is a really good. Ads already? It's telling me ads are in a minute and a half. Okay, well, we're at ads.